Okay. All right. So, welcome to the Four Men and a Giraffe podcast, which is a working title. This is four shop teachers taking a deep dive into construction, what we have going on in our shops, offering insights, and bringing on special guests. So, we're going to build something awesome together. What we're going to do is this is the inaugural episode, may or may not be published, and we'll go around the room. I'm gonna start with Adam. Basically,
Okay.
what you got going on with the shop in your shop, what you do.
Uh, so I'm in Pittsburgh, PA, and work in a after-school program with inner city youth. So I'm not in a like a. It's very much shop class, but just not a school setting. So right now we have two projects going on. We're building like an oversized filing cabinet. Somebody needed. Um, there's a new shop teacher that works underneath me, and we drew up some cabinets, and he's trying to figure out how to build those. So it's been fun trying to figure out dados and just all kinds of stuff. So we've got that working on, and then we're building some scenery for a local church that we partner with. They're redoing their children's area, and so that's actually like a fundraiser for us. So we'll go install that stuff, I guess, in like 2 weeks. So we have those two projects going on.
Cool. Scott, you want to go next?
You're
Sure.
so excited.
I'm in Kansas
See how
City, Kansas.
unenthusiastic I sounded? I'm sorry.
And you're just resting Noah face is priceless.
Well, it's a privilege to sit down with you guys. We had a blast in Las Vegas at the International Builders Show, and what was funny is we just kind of had a mob of us jokers that walked around and checked out the show. And so, if you can imagine 3 days of this, we had a good time. So, anyways, that's kind of how we all met up. Isn't that correct? In some other events, let's see, maybe the Sashko had an event. I think that's where I met Noah the first time. So, anyways, I'm in Kansas City, Kansas. I've been teaching construction for this. I'm wrapping up my 19th year. Before that, I did some framing, but the framing I did was kind of in a rural, was not like in Kansas City. So the codes were, they weren't very strict. So I've learned a lot as, I've come to town, and I just used to frame, and now like we build a house. So I have an intro class where we just it's kind of like going through year one of a carpenter's apprenticeship. And then we have the advanced class where we spend the afternoon out of the house. So it takes us 2 years to build a house. I'm pleased to say that last night at the board meeting, our plans for our next house were approved. So
Congratulations.
yeah, I'm
Very cool.
excited. And maybe the bigger congratulations is they approved a pretty sizable budget to build the next house. So I was pleased with that. That's usually building a house is stressful, but also managing that budget and trying to end at a certain time and under a certain dollar amount, that is fairly stressful, at least to
With
me.
some interestingly skilled labor.
Yes. Yes. So, and we have a funny format. So I kind of classify us as we're highly involved general contractors. We sub out a lot of stuff, but the good part is that the project keeps rolling. There's things that are more, like, for example, like when you get to the electrical phase, we can drill holes, pull wire, slam up some boxes and stuff. But when it comes to like wiring three-way switches or doing some of the more complicated things, like an electrician can show them once and kind of talk about some of the theory behind it, but then they kind of do all that, and the students just kind of work on mastering, like getting in plugs and light switches and wiring up, actual electrical devices like the lights and fans. So, anyways, it's been fun, and I've learned a ton, and so that's kind of my story.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Ken, you want to go?
Yeah, not really. So I'm Ken. Am not as, I guess, skilled in the teacher trades. I'm
That's
not
very
like all
complimentary.
of you guys that have been doing it for years. I'm like I'm like 3 years in. I do it basically part time as an adjunct professor at a community college here in Michigan. It's in Kalamazoo, Michigan. And my program, I'm trying to turn it into a 2 year construction management degree. But as of right now, we have like one construction class, a plumbing class, HVAC class. So I teach the construction class, and like right now, we're working on building a shed. We've been working on like wall assemblies. So I have teams of like 4 students per team, and then we build like a 4 foot by 6 foot wall, and they learn how to put a window in it, take a window out, kind of remodel focus because that's where I come from. I've been spent. Yeah, so that's what we've been working on. I'm trying to get them like comfortable with using tools. We have about $15,000 worth of Milwaukee tools is what we started off with in the program. And
Nice.
ideally, I think how we all kind of want to get to building a house, because I think that's the best way to teach these people or these kids. Like I work with everyone from high school up through like 50, 60 year olds are taking my class. So, and they have all different types of experience. Um, and then kind of my background where I come from, I spent 5 years as a general contractor, currently work as a project manager for a building and restoration company. My day to day job is in construction, doing construction, and I teach 1 day a week for the community college.
Very cool.
That's very cool.
That's all I got.
Yeah. So I guess I'll
It
go.
wasn't Chat GPT though.
What's that? All my stuff is ChatGPT. I got no shame in the game. Yeah. So my name's Noah. Obviously, we all met, and I probably had the best time hanging out with shop teachers with y'all, and that's why I think this like kicked off. Honestly, just hanging out with anybody, hanging out with y'all was like the most fun. So this has been really cool to kind of connect with people. Yeah, so my background's in construction. I was a framer like Scott, same last name, but not related. Yeah, so I grew up a framer. My dad was a builder, and so I worked for him for a long time and got into that and trim carpentry. Eventually owned my own business, and then a random opportunity came up to teach, which was only I think 3.5 years ago is when I started teaching. The no teaching skills, no background in that, and then just kind of jumped into it. And I was fortunate enough to go to a school district, or I work in a school district that's pro hands-on. So we do a house build in collaboration with Habitat for Humanity, and so it's been great. I teach one class at the community college, and that's much more of a classroom setting, and I have a lot harder of a time without having hands-on as much, like basically connecting the students, getting them excited and engaged. It is people that I find kind of have like as a base, they're more excited about learning in general, I think, which is cool. Not that my students aren't, it's just every student that comes into the community college seems to be wanting to do something in construction, so which is cool. Um, Whereas in the high school, you vary students that just kind of want to experience it, maybe have more knowledge about it, get put in the class. As an overall, it's a great experience. It's just a different experience. But the lack of hands-on at the community college does make it difficult. So, yeah, so that's my background. So, one thing that we talked about, basically improve a program. Like at the college, that I teach at, I'd love to just try to get more and more hands-on. It kind of fell into my lap at the high school. So what are things that y'all have done to basically be able to grow your programs? Like Scott, like how were you able to first kick off the house build for your program?
I inherited it, so
Okay.
and I kind of got well, sort of lucky. So I my first year was the 2006-7 school year, and at least for myself personally, that's when I felt the recession because I had been framing for one guy and then he went out of business. I went and framed for another guy and he went out of business, another guy, and so this I was working for a buddy of mine framing, and my dad heard of this position come open, and I called, and the lady talked to me for a long time, and I was like, wow, she's really excited for me to come teach there, but I'm not a teacher. So both my parents were teachers, and so I was like, I kind of understand, I kind of get it, and but the economy was for us here in Kansas City and in my construction world, it was falling apart, and so I was like, I was what 4 years married, so I was kind of still newlywed, and I needed a steady paycheck, and so and it kind of seemed to fit the criteria. I laugh in hindsight because I'm like, man, if I would have known the job description, I don't know if I would have taken it. But it's a big animal, the house build, and
After 19 years.
yeah,
Right.
starting to figure it out. So, um, but
So
yeah,
you,
go ahead.
so you've built like 8 houses with students?
Yeah, something like that. Yep. So
Whoa.
Yeah, like you act so nonchalant about that accomplishment.
well, and you know what's funny? Travis and Joe with Catalyst Construction, I did we called it an externship. Pretty much the school paid me, and I went and hung out with them for like 3 weeks. And what was hilarious was I'm I do what you do. Like your your workers are like my students, and I'm not like making fun of that, but I'm like, you get supplies, you explain what you want done, you try to set them up for success, and then you leave and you come back and you correct and you add to, the scope of work to be done. Like I'm like, that's exactly what I do. And I call contractors and try to set stuff up for the next day and the next week, and it was almost comical. And so, and the other thing that I saw that correlated was you're constantly just nothing is like a cut and dry. Students so much when they solve like math problems in class, it's like, you do step 1, step 2, step 3, and you do these steps and you're done and you arrive at this answer. In construction, it's like not at all. Like everything goes crazy. And so it's like you're just managing problems, you're solving problems the whole time. And so that's why I'm like, sometimes I don't feel like I do it successfully. I probably struggle with more like thinking I'm not the greatest than maybe most people. But like we built some really cool houses, we do, and so I should probably be more excited about that. But because I like I'm the wizard behind the curtain, and I see the shenanigans and the you know staying late to get something done so that we can move to the next thing, or trying to fix a problem that was a complete oversight by my part, and but when it's all done, we sell a house and it looks great, and
I think one of the problems is like, especially with, I love Instagram, and honestly, a lot of us have connect through Instagram. But the downside of it is like program envy, right?
yep,
I look at other
absolutely.
people's programs and I think, man, that is incredible what they're doing.
Yeah.
But like all social media, I mean, the funny thing is you warn the kids about it, and it's like with other things, but even in your own life, you don't realize you're like, that's not the reality of the matter, you
Yep,
know?
yep.
Like,
You're watching other people's highlight reel. Yep.
right, 100%. So I think that's difficult.
No, I totally agree. I mean, like the program I oversee, we started as a theatrical construction program, and and I think for me, the desire to go towards a house or more residential stuff is it's just a lot more. One, I'll be honest, part of me thinks it's cool, and there's some program envy. I'll admit that. Um, and But the other part for student wise is I think they can grasp a house better than the theater stuff, like because they're not like we're not in a school with like a performing arts department in the same way, like that has like a big theater club that pushes this whole thing. Like I mean, I think like we've built our own electric winches. I mean, we've done some really cool things, but the kids, I still just don't like. I think grasping. So it's trying to build that excitement is really kind of what's pushing me towards trying to like. Hopefully this fall we're gonna do what Ken was talking about, do like a shed build, and kind of start there with still doing our other projects.
Well, I will say I've noticed because you asked like how how you get to where you are now. I've noticed this past year we uh, had stuff fall through, and we didn't have a big project this year. It was supposed to be the baseball field at our school was going to be a press box with a storage area below, and just one thing after another. We are like pretty much just now starting in April 2nd. Like we have a little over a month of school left, and so we've done a few little projects like we went and helped our framer building a house down the street, and we also helped at a church down the street repair their deck and redo some stairs. And to see the students kind of light up when there's a project, when there's things to do, they get involved. And when you're just doing like a little mock-up in the shop, and they do get excited about that more than like book work or anything like that. But the levels of you're going out and building something, and like, and the mock-ups are good, but you get off when you're building a whole entire wall that's 4 foot long. If you get off an eighth of an inch, it kind of magnifies all the stuff and it doesn't fit perfect anymore. And when you build a wall that's 60 feet long, you got some wiggle room.
Right.
So
That's kind of why, just from my experience, like that's why we get in the trades. Like maybe all of us have had jobs where like we send emails and it's not very fulfilling. Whereas like when you're building something, doing stuff with your hands, like framing, I didn't really enjoy framing because you can see a lot of progress really quickly, and it's a good feeling like you accomplished something. Which, I mean, even at the Sashko dinner, like I think that's a general theme of why we do this in the construction trade, is because we get fulfillment from like changing people's lives and building things for them, and we're trying to transfer that to students because it is very fulfilling as opposed to going to college and just getting a regular degree that everyone gets and then trying to figure out what you actually want to do with your life when there's a huge need in the trades of the workforce. It's aging out and it's not, the backfill isn't there,
Right.
which is why we do what we do.
Yeah.
I think people get less and less fulfillment. Most of the students that are in my school, they spend most of the day on a Chromebook and they feel frustrated. And if you're anything, we're probably all kind of similar in the way I think the building industry is pretty similar, as people that are successful in that love that fulfillment. And so the opposite of that is a lot of what's going on in schools. I don't know what the answer to that is, but like without the hands-on stuff, I don't even think a lot of my students would show up to school. But the other thing is, the nice thing about the house build is to keep them busy is like huge, but it's impossible to with the budgets that you're given, Like if I broke it down per student, it's like $3 or $4. Like, what am I going to do with that? Like, there's only but so much stuff you can build, take down, mock-ups you can build before they all of a sudden I'm like, man, I'm kind of frustrated with this.
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
Right.
And that's why I think it's cool to be networked together because right before school started, I trolled the Instagram construction teacher like hashtags and accounts, and I tried to look for like larger scale like shop mock-ups, things I could do with my intro students to keep them excited, or even uh, we're kind of lucky. We have a sounds horrible. We're not lucky. There's a high free and reduced lunch population at my school, which opens up doors for like certain funding, and so we're lucky to have that funding. Is what I was trying to say. So
That's fair.
there's times where like there's money to be spent. So we kind of always keep on hand kind of a wish list. So like if there's, hey, we have an extra X amount of dollars, we need to spend it, in a certain amount of time, we can do that. And so that's one aspect. And also just like watching and networking and talking with you guys, it keeps the creative, your creative mind going, because it's like, well, maybe I can't do what he's doing, but I do have, this stuff in my back closet, and I do have this guy out in the community that maybe he just got done, with a such and such project. He might have some leftover, concrete blocks, and then you can really run with that stuff. So one thing I did want to say, Ken mentioned, the satisfaction in getting to see things through and completed and how it changed people. It was amazing. The stairs, to me, it meant a lot to me. And I tried to like push it to my students. Like, hey, did you see this? Like the lady who lived upstairs and had to go up and down these rickety stairs was kind of scared of them and would not go down them. And we built these stairs, and she literally had a little like single lady, and she had like a chair and a table like at the bottom of the stairs waiting for us to like walk away so that she could take it up. She was so excited to like put it up on the deck, and it's because it's a beautiful view. It's kind of up on a hill, and I was like, guys, she was so excited. Did you see that? Like, to me, I think that's cool when you
huge.
can do something for somebody they couldn't do, and they just love it.
Yeah.
I think actually the younger generation gets it more. Sometimes I miss stuff like that, and my students will be like, "Oh, that's cool. I like doing this for the community and everything like that." And I think that's good for, I don't know, everyone bashes the younger generation, but I think in a lot of ways we got a lot to learn, especially for Ken. I'll edit that out.
There's a
Gotta
lot.
turn his hearing aids up.
There is a lot. I mean, I'm not going to bash or get into a younger generation conversation because that's not what we're here to, really, that idea. But I do know that they like do value like community and relationships. There is a larger push on. So I think, that's a huge thing. I think, don't get me wrong. Scott has built a house, but like Noah through Habitat, I feel like you could tap into that kind of sentiment with students because Habitat is doing, for more of a family that is in need than not type thing. And I don't know all the standards for Habitat, but that kind of thing.
Yeah, and even before that, it was cool. This is something that's a project that I think is good for people to start off on. Our Habitat, we built the walls for houses. And Habitat, obviously, in general, like the homeowners came out and helped. We got to meet the homeowners. It's cool. You see the final, like the people that are getting it. And yeah, a lot of times it's just people that, had experienced just difficulty through no fault of their own.
Yeah.
And so it's cool to see the students be like, yeah, I had students show up on a Saturday to help on a build. I just asked them, and I had 20 some odd students show up.
Wow.
So I'm like, that speaks volumes to, they want to work. They want that feeling of accomplishment. They want to impact the community. I think I think when you give people opportunities, they surprise you and exceed what you had even hoped for.
Man, look at us. We actually like talked about real content.
I know we're too serious.
Doing good, Ken?
I think so. Just
The other thing,
bedtime.
Dude, it's
the
actually no joke. It's actually getting close to my bedtime. So what can I say?
seriously,
I wake up. Yeah, I wake up at 5 to have an hour of life before my daughter gets up, or I'll get up. I have a running group that I'm a part of, and if I get up for with them, I get up about 4:40.
a running group. All right,
Who runs for fun?
I know.
It's not fun.
You're out.
I run for community.
Oh, so now we're supposed to feel bad about it?
Oh, way to just throw that guilt trip right in our face.
Dude, you know what's crazy? So I had a meeting with the Builders Association. Are any of y'all connected with the
I
Builders
clearly need to
Association?
step up my community game.
Not yet.
They basically they've donated considerably to my program, been a big supporter. It's pretty cool. But literally they cannot find other shop teachers that It was about why I went to the IBS and all that stuff. And they were like, no other shop teachers will take us up on the offer to pay for y'all to go out there to donate stuff. And I was like, honestly, I have no idea why. Like, y'all have been incredible. And I'm like, they're like, do you have any insights as to why a shop teacher wouldn't want to kind of be connected?
I wonder if their shop is more like I'm thinking like some shop classes are like we build a stool and a cutting board, and so like maybe there's not as much opportunity to do like residential type stuff, and so that teacher maybe just doesn't see value or the potential or opportunity there. So because you could take you could incorporate some things like you could do like little electrical modules or something. I'm sure you could figure something out. But yeah, man, that's a lot of generosity left on the table.
Yeah, it seemed crazy to me.
For me, I got to go to IBS last year, and I went to their local dinner. I didn't get a chance to go this year to the local dinner. Just it didn't work out to get to, it was the same night as Sashco and how all that worked out. But last year for me, I just I'm not in a place to like put in effort to go to the meetings and kind of build that relationship because rightfully so they kind of wanted some investment on my end to like get to know them and to kind of how could it be more of a mutual partnership instead of just like them giving, which I'm totally open to. Just I think it'll be something that I pursue eventually as we like head towards building sheds, because then like it's resources, not just materials, but to like builders and other people that
Sorry, what you're saying is great. It's just I was thrown off by Ken being sideways.
dude, his poor connection has been in and out all night.
Yeah, it's terrible. I have like
But
41%, I think, my
so
connectivity. If that's what that percentage in the corner of the screen is.
You got your battery, man. I'm sorry. That's good. Yeah. The
No, you're not.
my I'm not sorry about that at all. I'm sorry for cutting Adam off.
no,
I
you're good.
I think you're right. My Builders Association's been incredible about not like they don't expect a lot back, and I let them know because I teach the nights that they have their meetings and everything, and I don't even go to them. I'll hit one of them in the summertime, so maybe I'm just extremely fortunate in that.
Yeah, they were really interested. I just, some of it is I've got to make it to a few meetings just to meet everybody, that kind of thing, and just because it's really, for me, it would be really cold calling at this point.
Right.
So just to even kind of get going and things like that. And since we're not a direct school, and we are like an inner city ministry, there's a layer there that it's not. Sometimes it's just a little different, like than just being like, oh, it's Pittsburgh Public Schools. Like that's like we love that.
Right. There was already when I started at the school, there was already a somewhat of a relationship formed.
Yeah, but no, I mean I'm pumped that it like that you have that backing. I mean that's huge. I mean that's like, I mean yeah,
Yeah, and even just to have builders that I can call and get advice from, that's
right,
huge. I
yeah,
think the everyone's trying to figure out how to connect the industry and schools or programs, whatever it is.
right,
And
We've got the KCHBA, the Kansas City Home Builders Association, and they do some cool stuff, but like it's kind of different than what I do. I'm kind of married to my curriculum because our state recognizes that students have to go through it. So they use different curriculum, and they have like a playhouse thing, and like they do some cool stuff, but it's kind of different. And so like I go to some of the meetings, and because they have ones for educators, and so I go to a few of those, but I don't go to many. Oh, and they offer like little grants, and so like I almost feel guilty, applying or taking their money, but so I don't know. They're great people out there, and there's good organizations, but sometimes, and that's the other thing for me. Those other shop teachers, like Noah, you were saying, any insight to why those other teachers, I don't know what they have going on in their life. Maybe they're also a coach, or,
Yeah, yeah.
because to me, I'm like, man, I'm at full
Or they're
bandwidth. Like,
lazy. They're just lazy.
maybe.
Or they're like Ken and just old and don't know how to receive the voicemail.
Be that too.
Yeah, it was just an interesting
Yeah.
insight and my response to them was they just run maybe a different program than I have, and it
Yeah.
works amazing for us. And I really don't, but I don't also connect. I have Josiah, which is in a neighboring county, who
Oh,
was
yeah.
there, but I don't have the other shop teachers. I've never really been able to connect with.
Yeah.
And I didn't know, maybe it's territorial, maybe it's whatever it is. But which is funny because some of the best relations, like y'all, and other people, like some of the best people, I'm like, this is awesome. There's no competition. We're all just trying to win for our students or
Right.
people in our program. It's just an
That was
interesting thing.
kind of my struggle starting off as a general contractor. Like you can't go to other general contractors in your area and like network with them and like discuss those pain points with them that they went through. Instead, you just have to go through them and experience them yourself because it's more like your competition, but really your client base is completely different. And that's why I joined the Home Builders Association, is to try to network with those people. And I think that's kind of what we're trying to do here.
I'm sorry, I'm having such a hard time. What you're saying is 100% true. You're just sideways.
This,
The
this is,
problem is,
My phone
there we go.
is that better?
hey, whatever
Am I?
works.
It
See, look,
works.
now you made
If
him move the
God
phone.
hadn't texted that he's sideways, I wouldn't have laughed.
My
This is what my wife has to deal with when we're in serious things. I always laugh.
Yes, me too. It doesn't go well sometimes because I'm supposed to be serious.
Yeah.
Uh,
why so serious?
Yeah, that is interesting. I never thought about that from builder to builder being or whatever person in the industry. They're competitive, and
Yeah.
that's a tough thing for people new breaking in.
so I kind of discovered Instagram roughly about the same time as like I remember Tyler Grace, TRG, um, Nick Schiffer, and Here's Johnny. They started the Modern Craftsman podcast, and I kind of stumbled into them because I was kind of like everybody in construction's like stuck in their ways. Nobody talks to each other, and we're doing the same crap the way we've been doing it forever. And then I kind of stumbled into those guys, and I'm like, hey, there are people that are interested in improving. And I stumbled into like I had to have found one of Matt Reisinger's like original videos, and it was on window install, and I was like, oh my gosh, that is like revolutionary. And if we looked at it now, we would laugh at it, but it was so much better than what I was doing. And so I kind of stumbled into the whole social media stuff, and all these guys. And one thing they mentioned is this is a place where we can talk to people that we don't compete against. And so like we openly, like, you can share all the like pain points or kind of your tips and tricks you wouldn't want to get out, and so I don't know, and there's really not that in shop teachers, uh, but doggone, it would be nice to like know someone else's shortcuts or that they're struggling just like you are.
Yeah, it's that
Yeah,
whole
yeah.
concept of
No,
you
totally.
don't know what you don't know
Yep.
until
So
you watch one of Matt Reisinger's videos and realize you don't know.
that's right.
Yeah, and the more you
Look, the
watch, the more
Build
you realize
Show,
you don't
you're
know.
advertising for them. Noah, are they like the show sponsor?
GPT give you to wrap us up.
That was the nicest way you could say, "Hey guys, I'm out. I have to do a fun run tomorrow to build the community." I never checked the outro. Honestly, I'm shocked we made it this far.
Are you kidding me?
No, this was good.
Yeah, this was great. It's
We
going to be a lot of editing. No, I'm just kidding. So, yeah, why don't you give the outro, Adam?
Oh man.
He's gonna say goodnight.
uh,
Look,
well, this is four men and a giraffe. Is that our name? Four men and a giraffe.
Working title.
Working title. Our working title is Foreman and a Giraffe. You'll meet Giraffe tomorrow, and we'll see you next month.
Perfect. Thanks for listening to the Foreman Podcast. Be sure to check us out on Instagram at Foreman_podcast. And each month we'll release a new episode discussing the trades and bringing on interesting guests from the industry.